For the city of Joliet, Monday, December 17th. What did it say, 6:30, aren't we 5:30? 5:30. Mayor Robert Odekirk proceeding.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Odekirk.
Here.
Councilman Dickinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman. I did receive a phone call from her. She'll be running a few minutes late. Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda this evening is citizens to be heard on agenda items. This is for any of the agenda items minus the public hearing item, which is the budget. Is there anyone present that would like to speak on an agenda item this evening? Seeing none, move on to the public hearing. This is the public hearing for the proposed 2019 budget. Let the record show that the public hearing is now open, so comments would be in order at this time regarding the budget.
Would anyone like to address the council on this?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, good evening. Former city manager David Hales had come to our neighborhood meeting, and he had challenged the neighborhood groups in Joliet to come before the city council for the budget that nobody shows up for any time. So I don't see why you should hold a special meeting when nobody shows up, so you can combine it with the council meeting. That's fine with me. But he said, bring 2 or 3 ideas and what you want done in your neighborhood and so on, and get involved in the process. First suggestion I have is you've received a letter that talked about the sidewalk replacement program needing more money. I think, Mr. Mayor, you were at our meeting that night that that was our discussion in November. Somebody had brought that up about sidewalks and so on, so that's a concern. But Mr. Hugg, I believe during the Jim Gotti's presentation on the budget, and Jim, by the way, you did a great job on the budget presentation. I think you said $300,000. You had said, hey, was that $300,000 in the budget? Well, reading over the letter, I think the neighborhood group was asking for $375. So if somebody could clarify whether that's going to be in the budget or not, I'd appreciate that. Was it $300 or $375? And then I had a new idea. Because in my neighborhood, in Cunningham neighborhood area, we have people struggling to put up their new homes, redo the homes and remodel and so on. And I'm quite sure if they had an opportunity to put a sidewalk in, maybe at a 2/3 program instead of a half for low-income families, that might be an option to prompt them to put the sidewalk in addition to the siding on the home, the fence and so on. And so that's something that hadn't been discussed before, and probably, again, you'd have to set some standard on what low income is, and that wouldn't be a tough thing to do with the finance committee or something, but maybe kick around that idea to helping those families that really, really need the help. And also, more help for neighborhood services with the demolition of abandoned homes and the blighted problems we have in our areas. I know that they're processing as many as they can, and talking to Jeff Sturr, you know, he says, John, he said, you know, with the paperwork that goes in, and I'm very familiar with the process, some houses take longer than others and so on, so you can't say every one of them to be done in a week. It just don't happen that way. But they're kind of stretched thin on manpower, and I'd like to see, well, first of all, kudos for the extra money, whoever got that grant last year, the blight program, this year I should say, the extra money. That was a great idea. That worked out well. But again, I'd like to see the city put their homes, abandoned homes, on a fast track program. Councilwoman, I believe you have one in your area. It's, I think we discussed, it's still sitting there for a while, and so on. I still have a couple too. But once you see them gone in the area, and the people are really elated and happy that the building's been knocked down, the green grass is put in, you start seeing improvements on the property in that area, because it's contagious. Just as it's contagious when the property is abandoned and ruined, you'll see people not doing anything on their property and moving out because they don't want their property values to drop anymore. So it's a reversal when you do your program. We have the best graffiti program in Joliet, bar none, in the surrounding areas. And I'd love to see a fast track program for blighted property. I think we deserve that as the 3rd largest city in the state. Also, I just ran into this problem a couple weeks back when we had a snow. I really hate to talk about it because we've been having this nice weather. I really don't want snow. But I'd like to see more dollars put in a snow removal program for the seniors and disabled individuals. that need assistance. I was surprised to hear there's a waiting list for the program. I don't know how many people is on there, but I don't know how many are being served. But if we're gonna have that program, especially for those folks, it would be nice to see some extra money put in that direction for the snow removal program. And then also, the previous mayor had said, well, you come to the city and you ask for all these things to be done, but you have no way of telling us what kind of, where we're gonna get the money and how we're gonna do these ideas you have. So I've got some answers for you. To me, the cost saving dollars, let's say a good source of revenue would be the nearly $500K you spent on the security at the Collins Street Prison for 2018.
Mr. Sherry, you're over 4 minutes if you can wrap it up.
This is a public comment section, and the time limit does not apply. You can read your own memo on the
It's
city
public
clerk. Would you
hearing.
like to read that memo where it says this does not apply to the public comment section, if you would, please? So I'll continue on. I'm almost done. Almost done.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir, but read the memo. As I was stating, the almost $500,000 being spent on the Collins Street Prison. Mr. Mayor discussed this with you at my neighborhood meeting. And with the new security system going in, and I think that should have cut things down. And then in addition, we talked about having private security, and you just felt as though the gun-toting security guards may be a problem for the city of Joliet and liability issues and so on if somebody were to get hurt or get shot. But to that I'd say you have the transportation center station, and that is private security with an armed security. And that has a lot more potential for incidents to happen between vagrants and drug addicts or whatever, people coming to that center. So with that being said, I'd like to see that farmed out, subcontracted out, and you could save yourself a lot of money. And in addition, you had in the police department budget that you actually wanted to do some new programs in relationship to objectives for next year is to take care of larger burglaries in Joliet, and these officers are highly qualified, highly trained, could be put back in the streets to help with that program. And just one cleanup language on here on your, I'll call it a summary statement or an introduction statement to the budget. It talks about expenditures. It said expenditures are expected to decrease in this department by 1.9 from the 2018 budget. Actually, the word should be increase. So I just want to point that out, probably a typo or when you use the same form year after year. But again, thank you for your time. I appreciate that's my ideas for the proposed budget, and appreciate if you looked at some of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak under the public hearing regarding the budget?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. I think you've done a great job as far as the 2019 budget is concerned, and particularly with the prison. It's in a minority community, and as we know, the gentleman before me, big Trump supporter, does not support minorities. And we need that prison, and you've done a tremendous job, Mr. Mayor, in going to Springfield and bringing that project to fruition, that we actually are renovating it. We actually are, the people in that area are very excited. The business community, the people that live in that area, they're very excited about it. And, one of the ways you're bringing in new revenue is with the gas station that's gonna go on the corner of Collins and Jackson Street, and of course Love's, that's gonna generate more revenue for the city of Joliet. And you're constantly bringing in new business, which is generating revenue into the city of Joliet. So I think you're doing a great job. And our Joliet police officers, which have come under attack from the previous speaker on many occasions, are doing a tremendous job in keeping the violence down in our city. I can't say enough about the Joliet Police Department. As a Housing Authority Commissioner that goes up into the Fairview area and the Forest Park area, as Councilwoman Gavin can tell you, it has been extremely quiet because of their presence, because of their aggressive presence in the area and working with the citizens in that community and throughout the entire city. I've also had the opportunity to walk the Cunningham area. I've also had the opportunity to walk in the Reedswood area in my own neighborhood. And the police are doing a tremendous job to protect the citizens of Joliet. So why an individual continuously comes up here to batter the police is beyond me, because they are doing a great job for the citizens of this city in protecting the citizens of this city. My father, who was a police officer for 38 years and a commander, in the traffic division, and also he worked in the investigations and the patrol. he thinks that this police department today is probably the best police department he's seen in his lifetime. So they are doing a great job. Again, I think that the budget is a good budget. It's a fair budget. It represents the entire city and every sector of the city. And to me, you all deserve kudos. Every single one of you that sit up there that has worked in this budget, and particularly the staff. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Seeing none, let the record show the public hearing is now closed. Pass it over to the city manager to discuss tomorrow night's agenda items.
Thank you. Tomorrow, newly appointed Police Chief Al Rochner will be introducing our newly appointed, or to be appointed, Deputy Police Chiefs. As we're all aware, there's no currently Deputy Police Chiefs, and there haven't been any for a number of months. Finance, Prison, and Public Service will provide their reports. There are 11 items on the consent agenda. There are no license and permit applications, and there are no other public hearings. Under ordinances and resolutions, the first, Council Memo 661-18, in ordinances for the levy and assessment of taxes for fiscal year beginning January 1, 2018, and ending December 31, 2018, in and for the 1996 Joliet Special Service Area Number 14 and 2009 Joliet Special Service Area Number 7. Under Illinois law, the city must adopt a tax levy ordinance for a special service area and file it with the county clerk by December 24th. So both of these have been, one since 1996 and the other since 2009. So we've been doing this last number of years. Council Memo 662-18, ordinance for the levying and assessment of taxes for fiscal year beginning January 1, 2018 and ending December 31, 2018 in and for City of Joliet, including the Joliet Public Library. Since the city secures funds through real estate taxes, we must approve and file a tax levy ordinance with the county clerk by December 24th. Council Memo 663-18, ordinances for the levy and assessment of taxes for the 2017 Special Service Area Neighborhood Improvement Program. The adoption of this ordinance will result in the billing by the city to individual property owners that are impacted by the special service areas. Next is Council Memo 664-18. This is the ordinance approving the 2019 annual budget for the City of Joliet without a discretionary subsidy for the Will County Metropolitan Exposition and Auditorium Authority and without discretionary spending for the Joliet Prison. An ordinance approving the 2019 budget for the Joliet Public Library and an ordinance approving the 2019 annual budget for the Foreign Fire Insurance Board. The past several years, the council, through an oral motion, separated discretionary spending from the budget itself. So this year, to make it less confusing for the public, I separated it into two separate votes. The first is the budget itself, which does not include the discretionary subsidy for the Will County Metropolitan Exposition Authority and the Joliet Prison. There'll be a separate vote. Just for your information, as you know, the proposed budget does not include the increase in the gas tax. So then the second is the ordinance to include the 2019 discretionary subsidy for the Will County Metropolitan Exposition and Auditorium Authority and Joliet Prison. And if both of these pass, combine these ordinances would approve the 2019 budget.
Well, again, you just mentioned the gas tax. It was pulled off the table at the last meeting?
Yes, it was pulled out. Well, actually, yes, officially the last. Yes.
Thank you.
So no gas tax.
Mayor?
Mayor?
Yes. Sure.
Marty,
Yes.
come back to me again with the foreign fire insurance.
Sure.
You're taking that out?
No.
Why are you
it's-
listing that in A?
No, that's all, that's one vote. So the first vote is for the annual budget and the ordinance for the Joliet Public Library and the ordinance for, the annual budget for the Foreign Fire Board. So for the budget itself, we're pulling out the discretionary spending for the Rialto.
I just questioned why it was listed under A again, but that's fine.
Where at? Oh, so it's listed under A, because if you pass it under A, then you don't need to, it's already addressed then for B. I was trying to make it less confusing.
Job well done.
Okay. That's it for me, Mayor.
So an affirmative vote on A
Yes,
includes the foreign fire tag.
yes. And the library.
Yes.
Marty, just to be clear, so, you know, the original proposal for that motor fuel tax, you took that out.
It's out.
There are no home rule taxes that have been increased at all then? You're not proposing any home rule tax increases? You know, retail,
No,
communication, no tax increases?
no increases,
Thank you.
as much as I would.
No.
Say as much as you can.
Okay, again, and then the second vote will be on the discretionary subsidy. So a yes on the budget, and then the second one is the discretionary spending part of the budget.
For the I'm sorry, for the Rialto and the prison.
In the prison, yes.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, Council Memo 667-18, ordinance approving special use permit to allow a massage business. Friday, the representative for the petitioner asked that the subject petition be tabled to the second council meeting in January. Council Memo 668-18, ordinance declaring certain properties as public nuisances. This will be 315 Illinois Street and 205 South Eastern Avenue. Council Memo 669-18, ordinance proposing establishment of the 2019 Special Service Area Number 1, Logan Ave, Washington Street, 2nd Ave. The approval of this ordinance will establish the public hearing on Tuesday, February 5 of 2019. Council Memo 670-18, ordinance amending the 2018 annual budget to purchase 2 tandem axle 6x4 dump truck with wing plow and plow accessories. These are to replace 2 failed dump plow trucks which have outlived their usefulness.
Mayor,
Yes.
are we gonna see the prices on this tomorrow?
For I think, you know what, I now have them, so I can give them to you. It is $495,812.
And that was bid?
And that was bid, yes, by Rush Truck Center.
Well, actually, they made an adjustment where we saved some additional, can you, go ahead. If you don't mind,
Yeah.
Mayor.
I was gonna add, they gave us an alternate bid for the dump body, and it met all our specs, so it's gonna be $7,500 per truck less. So we're gonna say, it'll be just about our estimates, like $480,000 and $900,000 or something like that.
480, 812, and the city estimate is 480 even.
Yes. And the important thing to point out here, or at least it is to me, our standard trucks for our major thoroughfares, they have a 12 foot. 12 foot. One truck now, when we go down Essington, when we go down Larkin, all the major thoroughfares, with this wing they're talking about, that one truck will cover 22 feet.
Yes.
So instead of using 3 trucks to clear a major thoroughfare like Jefferson, it only take 2, that truck can go somewhere else. So this is huge for the efficiency of the department, so, I mean, it was a good oversight. I wanted to explain that because it was important.
Then the, excuse me, Mayor, I mean, the extra savings as well as with the new tandem trucks, there's quite a bit of savings in with extra equipment, so I thought it was great, great pick.
Okay, any more questions on that one? Under resolutions, Council Memo 672-18, resolution authorizing submittal of the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. This is called the CAPER to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is year 3 of the fiscal year 2015-2019 5-year consolidated plan. Council Memo 673-18, resolution authorizing acquisition of 2 parcels. It's for the expansion of field operations at the Water and Sewer Service Center at 921 East Washington. The purchase price for the 2 parcels is a total of $120,000. It's a total of 1.31 acres. Council Memo 674-18, resolution approving an agreement between the City of Joliet and Forest Preserve for services related to Hollywood, Hobart Road, I-80, US 6 interchange modification, and roadway reconstruction. This is a comprehensive intergovernmental agreement. Some of the highlights, very briefly, are it's a 99-year and temporary construction area for Hobart Road improvements, a habitat management unit as an installation of a multi-use path, and provision to allow a future multi-use path. Under bids and contracts, these items will be discussed by the Public Service Committee tomorrow, who will report on any issues. But there is one item that I want to mention, and that would be Council Memo 678-18, request for authorization to award a professional service contract for conditions, analysis, and structural assessment of Prison West. This is a budget amendment for funds. The city already committed to this $12,600 in July. Even though this is a budget amendment, this award of contract does not commit additional funds beyond the $12,600 because the city will get reimbursed for the difference. And we have already received the museum's contribution for this contract. And Klein Hoffman, the vendor is here if you have any questions. And that's it. And there is a brief executive session.
First, we have public comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak under public comments this evening?
Mr. Mayor, as chairman of the council meeting, the rules and procedures to follow, they're supposed to be followed in Handley. And personal attacks are not supposed to be at the podium. And I challenge anyone in this room or on the TV, if I've ever said anything derogatory about the Joliet police, to please let me know and come up with the information, printed documentation, video, or whatever. I'm very supportive of JPD. My issue is only with the prison security, that these officers can be used a more valuable resource in other areas. That's been my statement for last year. Never any personal attacks.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comments? Seeing none, is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition, or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
All right?
Motion carried.